For decades, Dubai stood as a symbol of ambition in the Middle East. But today, that image is facing an unprecedented challenge. For decades, Dubai stood as a symbol of ambition in the Middle East. But today, that image is facing an unprecedented challenge. The question now being asked across the region is simple but profound. Can Dubai survive the consequences of a wider war? Dubai has long been associated with gleaming skyscrapers, luxury cars, and an image of relentless growth. Rising from the desert over the past half-century, the city transformed itself into one of the most recognizable global hubs for tourism, finance, and international trade. Its skyline, dominated by record-breaking architecture, became a symbol of the Gulf's economic ambitions. Yet the atmosphere in the city has changed dramatically as conflict in the region intensifies. In recent days, tensions involving Iran and its regional rivals have spilled across the Gulf. Drone and missile launches aimed at the United Arab Emirates have brought the threat of war closer to Dubai than at any point in recent years. Residents across the city reported hearing explosions overnight as air defense systems attempted to intercept incoming projectiles. Some drones struck buildings, and smoke was seen rising against the backdrop of the famous skyline. Fragments of intercepted drones and missile debris were later found scattered along roads and in public areas. For a city usually associated with luxury vehicles and pristine streets, the sight of military debris lying on its roads offered a stark reminder that the conflict gripping the region has now reached one of its most important economic centers. The United Arab Emirates has faced a series of attacks involving ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and armed drones. While air defense systems have intercepted many of them, the sheer volume of launches has raised concerns about the vulnerability of civilian infrastructure. In several cases, projectiles or debris have caused damage to buildings and commercial districts. Some of the reported targets have included areas near hotels, airports, and business districts. These locations underline the wider strategic implications of the conflict. The UAE is not simply another state in the region. It is also home to vital economic and logistical infrastructure that connects the Gulf to global markets. A particularly troubling aspect of the attacks has been their apparent focus on financial institutions. Analysts say the Iranian leadership views financial infrastructure across the Gulf as legitimate targets in retaliation for earlier strikes against Iranian banks and economic facilities. The strategy appears aimed at disrupting financial systems and creating uncertainty among investors and businesses operating in the region. For Dubai, that strategy strikes at the very heart of its economic model. Over the past several decades, the city has deliberately positioned itself as the financial gateway to the Middle East. Major international banks have established regional headquarters in Dubai to oversee operations across the Gulf, Africa, and parts of Asia. Its strategic location and business-friendly regulations helped transform the city into a major financial center. At the core of this ecosystem lies the Dubai International Financial Center. The district hosts hundreds of financial institutions, including around 290 banks, more than 100 hedge funds, and hundreds of wealth management firms. Together, they represent a powerful engine of economic activity that supports the wider economy of the emirate. But as tensions escalate, several of those institutions have begun taking precautionary measures. Some banks have instructed employees to evacuate offices temporarily and work remotely. Others have reduced operations while monitoring the security situation. Such decisions reflect the broader uncertainty spreading through the financial community. For Dubai, stability is not merely desirable, it is essential. Unlike some of its neighboring states, Dubai does not rely heavily on oil revenues. Instead, the city built its prosperity on a diversified economy centered on finance, trade, construction, tourism, and real estate. Over the years, it cultivated an image of reliability and openness, attracting businesses and investors from around the world. Tax advantages, advanced infrastructure, and global connectivity encouraged multinational corporations to establish regional headquarters in the city. Wealthy individuals also moved to Dubai, drawn by a combination of luxury lifestyles and favorable financial regulations. The emirate became a magnet for capital, talent, and entrepreneurship. This economic model depends heavily on confidence. Investors, corporations, and tourists must believe that Dubai offers a stable environment in an otherwise unpredictable region. When that perception is shaken, the consequences can be swift. Reports suggest that some wealthy residents have already left the city as tensions escalate. Private flights and commercial routes out of the UAE have experienced increased demand. Companies are reviewing contingency plans in case the security situation deteriorates further. If the conflict were to intensify, the implications could extend far beyond temporary disruption. Businesses that once saw Dubai as a safe regional base may consider relocating to other financial centers. Even a small shift in corporate presence could affect sectors ranging from banking and real estate to tourism and aviation. The situation also reveals stark differences among Dubai's diverse population. While wealthy expatriates may have the resources to leave quickly, many migrant workers, who make up a large proportion of the city's labor force, have far fewer options. Construction workers, service staff, and other laborers remain in the city, often dependent on jobs that rely on the very economic stability now under threat. Economists warn that a prolonged conflict could have profound consequences for the city's infrastructure and financial reputation. Missile strikes on major transport hubs, ports, or financial districts could disrupt trade and international business flows. Even limited damage could take years to repair. Dubai's skyline may appear resilient, but economic confidence can be fragile. Markets respond not only to physical damage, but also to uncertainty. When investors perceive rising risk, they often move capital elsewhere. The stakes extend beyond Dubai itself. For many years, the emirate served as a blueprint for the Gulf's economic future. Other countries in the region have sought to replicate its strategy of diversifying away from oil and building economies based on services, tourism, and finance. The success of Dubai helped inspire ambitious development projects across the Middle East. Yet the current conflict raises new questions about the long-term stability required to sustain such models. If regional tensions remain unresolved, governments may need to rethink how they pursue economic diversification. Despite these challenges, Dubai has faced crises before. During the global financial crisis of 2008, the emirate confronted severe debt pressures and a collapsing property market. Through restructuring and regional support, it eventually stabilized its economy and returned to growth. Whether the city can demonstrate similar resilience, again, remains uncertain. Much will depend on how the current conflict evolves. A comprehensive peace agreement could restore confidence and allow businesses to resume normal operations. But if hostilities continue or expand, rebuilding trust among investors may prove far more difficult. For now, the situation remains fluid. Dubai's towers still dominate the skyline, and its infrastructure continues to function. Yet the city that once symbolized the Gulf's promise of stability now finds itself confronting the realities of geopolitical conflict. For decades, Dubai represented the idea that economic ambition could transcend regional instability. Today, that idea is being tested. The missiles and drones of war have cast a shadow over one of the world's most recognizable skylines. Whether Dubai can once again redefine itself and recover will depend not only on its own resilience, but on the direction of a conflict that continues to unfold across the Middle East.